Harry, it's an interesting one what Greg Dyke's been saying. Limiting the non-U internationals coming over here, and many of them not playing regular, sitting in the squads. And also, I'd love them to do something, Harry, where the youth team, the young players, we don't need foreign youngsters, do we? Maybe from 18 onwards, fine, but we don't need Spanish, German, 14, 15-year-olds, surely.
No, I mean, if you go and watch the top youth teams at the moment, Alan, the big clubs, they've got an awful lot of young foreign kids in their youth team, which are really, surely we've got to, I think, limit our youth teams to, under 18 level, certainly to homegrown kids, and give them the opportunity to develop.
Harry, I'm all for learning off. We had Muir and Tyson turn up at Ipswich, and they were a joy to play with and watch how
Fantastic.
And I've no problem with that. Our kids can learn from them, but not when, you're growing and maturing as a young man, hoping to break into the reserves in the first team. And I just feel that if they make a little bit more homegrown talent in the squad, I know it's difficult, but it'll give them more of a chance to see maybe one or two more Harry Kanes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100% with you, Alan. I mean, I went and watched Bournemouth play the weekend. They've got a young lad up front there, Wilson, they took from Coventry. Well, I got recommended him sort of almost 2 years ago when he first broke into the team at Coventry. People came back and said, well, he's not good enough. But I went and watched him Saturday. He's been given the opportunity at Coventry and developed, and now he's gone on to Bournemouth and stepped up another level.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt he could play in the Premier League. I mean, he's an outstanding young centre-forward. But he's been given the opportunity to do that. So if you don't get the chance, there's so many stories down the years, Al, isn't there, where people have got that chance through accident or somebody's been injured. I remember talking to Frank McClintock, who was one of the, a fantastic player, Frank, got the opportunity. Someone was injured at Leicester many, many years ago.
Yeah.
He was thrown in as third or fourth choice. Oh, we've got to play him today. We've got no one else. And what a career he had. So it happens so often. It's happened a million times down the years. People do need the opportunity.
I think within 3 months he was captain of Leicester and bossing the dressing room, Harry. He's top class. Yeah. Harry, just Greg mentioned Harry a lot now. Harry Kane, was he always one when you were there at Spurs that, needed a chance, or was he a bit raw, Harry?
No, I think we was one that, I know it's easier when people make it and go, yeah, he was one that we always felt would. I tried to loan him when I went to QPR. In fact, both 2 years running, when I first went there, I couldn't manage to get him. They hung on to him at Tottenham. But he was always a kid that you felt he has got a real chance. Good ability, real good boy, a fantastic attitude, not a Billy big time or anything else. Wants to be a player, practices, lives for football. If anything, I think you always thought maybe he was short of a yard. I played him, he was only been to 18, 19 when at that time, but he was maybe just, you thought he might be short of a yard of pace. I remember one story, it's a true story. We had a reserve game at the training ground. I think we played Birmingham. And in fact, I think Arsenal were looking at Scott Dans that day. Their chief scout, Steve Rowley, came over with Pat Rice to watch the game. I think they were very close to signing Scott Dann from Birmingham. He'd come back from injury, and they asked if they could come to our training ground to watch a private, training game. And I said, yeah, no problem. And Harry Kane played up front, and he absolutely murdered Birmingham. Oof. I think he got 4 goals that day. And, I think we knew then that he was... And Frank Lampard Sr. was walking off the train. He came over to me. He said, what a good player he looks. He said, just needs to sharpen up a bit. Yeah. He said, do you mind if I have a word with him? And Frank sidled over to him and said, get yourself a pair of spikes. Do your sprints every day. You'll make yourself... They give yourself that extra yard. He said, you can do it, Yeah. And that's how the kid was. He went and got some spikes, started doing some sprints every day. He worked at his game and wanted to be a player.
Harry, there are 3 initiatives. Brian. One's definitely going through, but the other 2, Mark Palios has confirmed that it is solely down to the Premier League to vote as to whether or not they adopt these. How do you think they'll react to the proposals regarding minimum number of homegrown players in the first-team squad and the registration change?
I think it's going to probably be a difficult one to get through, Brian, when they've got so many, the big clubs have got so many foreign players on their books. I don't know, I don't know. Is it? It's obviously got to be a change that's going to take place, not for the present, because what they're going to do with all them players? They're not going to be, as you saw the weekend.
Well, it's going to be phased in over 4 years, Harry. Phased in over 4 years is the minimum number.
4 years, yeah. Yeah, you could see it in 4 years when contracts run out. And listen, if it's going to help the English game in the long term and help us produce better players and give them the opportunity and help the national team, but is the standard going to drop as well? That is your problem. You're going to. The top clubs have got very, very good, obviously, foreign imports. It's a lot lower down that ain't so good, but I don't know whether it will get through or not. I think there certainly will be a fair amount of opposition, I think, from some of and in Europe, when we come to play in European Cups, European Champions League, are we going to be strong enough if we really do have to go down that road? It's a difficult one, but I would like to see it given a go.